Hello, welcome to the People Profit Podcast, the show where we flip the script on traditional business thinking and prove that when you put people first, profits follow. I'm Sandra Coker, your guide on this journey to more engaged teams, loyal customers, and a healthier bottom line. These episodes are brought to you by Human Power Solutions, helping organizations unlock the human potential that powers performance. Whether you're a leader, an HR pro, or a curious change maker, buckle up. We're diving into fresh stories, real-world strategies, and a few laughs along the way. Ready to turn your workplace into a profit-powered people machine? Let's get started. And our podcast today features our guest, Flavie Berleand. Flavie is from France and has many, many years of experience in global HR leadership positions. She's currently the founder and CEO of Your Biz, Your Rules, which is a company that helps women reach their potential in their careers or business lives. We are so excited to welcome Flavie to our show, and we are ready to have a great conversation. I met Flavie at we're part of our mastermind together. We met in Scottsdale a few months ago and have just really connected quite well. And I thought bringing a perspective from outside of the US, what's kind of happening globally in our workforce, I thought it'd be really interesting to have a conversation with you today. So thanks so much for joining me today. What time is it over there?
It's 3 p.m.
Okay. All right. So we're not that far off. Okay. Sounds good. So tell us a little bit about what you do. We're going to put up your company and all that, but tell us a little bit about what you do.
So what I'm doing today, it's mainly, empowering women and helping them to just break the ceilings that they put themselves above their head. And it's okay. You can do so much more than what you think. And because I've been doing like 17 years in human resources and especially in talent development and just developing the potential, for me, it's all about saying to those women, you can lead your life, you can lead your dreams, and you can just be the leader you are meant to be.
And, this podcast is all about the people, right, inside of your organizations. And so what are some of the most, we think about our women and we're other people as well, but when there's a lot of barriers that are facing women that are trying to achieve more, what do you think are the most common barriers that women are achieving these days in our workplaces?
So in the workplace, I think that they want to achieve more. The first one that come to me is have an equal salary with men because they're doing the same kind of job. And most of the time it's like, we have a salary scale for men and a salary scale for women. And I've been working in very big corporation, and for the same position, we had so much gap between the salary. It made for me, and it wasn't nonsense, but it was, okay, ladies, you have to work more to achieve exactly the same level of income than a man. And I heard it so many times, and that's why I also left some company to say, but you're a woman, you're just going to get pregnant. So we don't have to bet on you. And I was, So we need to prove that we are worthy and we are enough to be considered, accepted, seen, and heard.
Yes. And it's interesting, thinking about the culture within companies and treating people equitably and fairly and all of those things. Do you find that companies, which is what we talk about, companies lose top talent because of some of these practices?
Oh my God. I have decided to stop human resources because I was not aligned anymore with the age of human resources. Because for me, I've been seeing, and I lived it literally, where you have talent and you say, you got to go there. And how many times I was telling to my talent VPs that that's not where he's meant to be because he won't like the job. So he will be demotivated. And what's going to happen? He's going to quit the company. And one of our competitors just going to get him. So what if we just take the time to listen to what do they really want for the career? Because I was used to say, I'm not God. I'm not the one who should decide for the employee of what he's supposed to do or to become. It's like you are your own driver of your life, of everything. So you are the one who can just decide. And there's nothing worse when you're working in HR and in talent development and an employee telling you, no, I won't take the promotion, or no, I will not take that position because it's like, it's not aligned with who I am, or it's not my competency. And, it's like something that also hit me a lot. It's when you have people who are very technical, like we had developers, and suddenly you want to promote a manager. No, they don't like it. It's not that they don't like people, but it's like, what's enough? It's just thinking beyond the computer, not managing people. So sometimes it's just to say, guys, open your eyes, listen to people, see what they are really good at. Because we're talking about talent. We're talking about potential. We're not talking about crushing their potential in the wrong sense, Right. So yes, I've seen so many ways of talent just because of politics also. If I can talk really wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And yes, politics within the company, not politics in general, but yes.
Yeah, no, politics in company. Because like, you need to do that to become this. And for women, it's like the only path you have is this one. And I was, no, there's not just one way leading to Roma, there are so many possibilities. And sometimes it's say, just be open and just watch what are the possibilities. Because for women, it's like, no, you need to do this, and that. And here, it's going to be hard because you have so many competitors. It's like, it's not a matter of competition. It's just a matter of skills and potential.
Absolutely. And I think you said a lot of things. Let's unpack it a little bit, because you said a lot of things in there that are in our concept. And I think the biggest thing that you said is taking that person that's very strong in their role and then saying you're going to be a manager. And what if we just took the people that were good with people, they were motivated, maybe they weren't as skilled in their jobs, but there'd be a dynamite at leading and motivating those that are very skilled. Yeah. I feel like that concept is just missing so much in our,
And I don't know for you in US, but for us, we kind of add, another element, which is a diplomas. And we have this kind of elite, mindset. You have to do this. And I saw it because I've been working in recruitment. Some ladies in marketing, if they didn't come from one specific school, no, you can't have the job. And we're just talking about a school. And this school, you need to pay for it. So it means that if you are coming from an environment where money was not that high, you are just by default removing any opportunity in your life. And I find this so unfair. And I've seen, because I've been working like very big luxury corporation, and I work in them, where, you were a blue collar, not really a blue collar, but, you have the cadres and you have people like assistants. And it's like, no, because you're an assistant, you cannot evolve. And I was, of course you can. And you can move from one house to another department, and to stop just limiting people, because the effects are so dramatic. People are losing confidence. They're doubting about themselves after they're overthinking everything. So for me, I call it like little trauma. But after thinking, I'm just staying in my box and I walk from my box.
Yeah, I love that. So you talk about like that, the women, these successes, you have in the work that you do, you mentioned like success comes from removing what's in your way, right?
Yes.
So how does that philosophy tie into your approach to leadership and the personal development for women, like what they need to do? So what are some of the things that are in the way of women, but not just in women, but of other people, like to stop them from, their success?
Well, the first thing that is preventing them is definitely. And for me, my job is really to say, okay, you can take all the trainings that you want. You can take all the coaches that you want. If you don't work on you, it's all about having the clarity and the awareness of what am I maybe afraid of? And, sometimes people are confusing fear with growth, because sometimes you can be afraid of doing something because you have never done it. When you take a position, it's like it's typical. A woman will check if she has 100% on the job description before applying on a job. A man will check if he has 60%. So we need to be super sure that, yes, I can handle it. And so if you don't think you had it all, you'll say, no, I won't even try, because it's like,
Right.
I don't know why I can't get that position, because what are my own limitation? You don't even think all those questions. So for me, it really is okay. First, be clear on what you want, and then have the awareness of what is really, it's not what is preventing you, but what is really preventing you from succeeding. And sometimes, and this is what I see with most of my clients, it comes from basic sentence that they heard once that just shake completely their confidence. It can be one situation that they face. So after it, how you say, okay, that is a thought that I have, and how can I just change the thought and the emotion it had? Because sometimes it's like, okay, I'm going to put you in that position, and you feel your body completely shrinking. Like,
Right. Yeah.
and this is how can you also listen to sometimes your intuition, but your body was telling you, okay, that's a good place for me, and we saw it when you want to apply in a job. Doesn't fit with the manager is fine. Doesn't fit with the team is okay. And if you arrive and you feel like, I don't know what, I don't feel, but you're going to go anyway. And after it's like, oh, it didn't work. First, you didn't listen to yourself. And then some things that you're repeating, because you have some people who are not succeeding on repetition, because it's like they're repeating always the same patterns. So it's all about having the awareness and just say, okay, then why do I just repeat this? And how can I just change in a way, just rewrite, what I've been learning. And what I see most of the time, it's conditioning. You have been conditioned by your family, by your friends, by the society, by your past companies. And so we as women sometimes don't even give us, the possibility.
Right. And there's the stories that are in our heads, right? Whether you're a man or a woman, but there are definitely stories or things that happen that just kind of narrow your scope of what you think you can do.
Exactly.
I find that very fascinating as you kind of unpack some of these things. And I'm one of those people you move past fear, because once you move past your fear, like your goal is probably 5 feet away, but your fear stops you from crossing that finish line a lot of times. So I think that's fascinating. So you worked in different industries, you worked in different cultures, global organizations, across your career and what you see. And do you think the barriers of success are different in these different countries or different cultures?
Yes. So what I've been observing, it's like US is a country where everything is possible. And I've seen, like young people like before the 30s becoming VIPs or VPs, VPs, SVP. In France, if you're not 60 plus, you can't get this kind of position, And if you go to Japan, I've been working a lot with Japan and China. Here, it's all about your status. And women have even less changed, to reach the top of the ladder. And so culture is such an important thing. And that's why sometimes you have people say, I want to become an expatriate because I want just to escape to the culture. I'm just living in my country. And I've been managing expatriates for over 10 years. And let me tell you, most of the time, they never want to come back to their home country.
Interesting.
Because it's like, there are so many other possibilities, because it's like, again, the conditioning they have been learning and living all their life. It's like suddenly, oh my God, there's something new. So yes, you have fears. Will I fit to the culture and so on? And at the end, it's expanding your comfort zone. It's making a bigger comfort zone. And after you are fine. And so why can I come back where I come? And especially the French, not any single French people I know who left France were willing to coming back.
Interesting. And most people in the US want to go to France.
But
Yeah.
Try. We are the one who had the revolution.
Yeah. So it's so fascinating. How do people, so when they do move, so even if you move countries or you leave your area because you want something more, you still have the stories in your head. There's still that conditioning. What are some practical steps that people can take to push past that,
Well,
conditioning?
something interesting that I've been observing, because, again, expatriation was given to an elite, so you need
Yes.
to be part of the potential of the high performer and so on. And those people, they were, and this is something really that I observed, like becoming another person in another country. And it's like, okay, I led my whole self in my home country, and now no one is knowing me. No one. I just saw my future boss, for one interview. So I can be more assertive. I can be more confident. I can be, more, management is sometimes you are a good manager or you are not. And then you need to learn how to become a good manager.
Right.
But in terms of confidence, I've seen, people sometimes not in a good way. Most of the time, it's like when I had expatriate going, for example, in Brazil or in Tunisia, it's like I am the one coming from a developed country, going into an or maybe not underdeveloped country, but less developed country than mine. So it's like by default, I am superior. And I was, oh my God, that's something we didn't know, during the interview. And that's where it's so fascinating to see how, depending on your environment, you can change. And put yourself among a bunch of millionaires. You will not behave the same way that if you are in the middle of people working as a blue collar in a how do you call it? Construction field or whatsoever.
Yeah. Blue collar environment. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. 100%. Wow. You've just been all over the place. And is it hard? So when someone says, I'm going to become somebody different, right? Or become my true authentic self, and where my potential is, how can companies, so when people do that, how do companies and HR leaders, foster that growth and really support an employee's potential in the organizations?
That's a very good question. And I think that it's, for me, one of the missing pieces, that we always look to the benefit of the organization. We don't look for the benefits of the employee. So when you want to develop yourself, and I've seen it as an HR, I've lived it as an employee, when I ask my boss to say, okay, I want to do a coaching training, because on HR, I'm working with now VPs, SVPs, so I want to be able to help them. And my boss told me, no. And I was, okay, what? And then my next boss said, Flavie, we have a budget. You can have it. So she fight for me. And I was, okay, we can have the budget. But if for some reason your boss doesn't want, they won't help you, your development. And it's something, that I've seen a lot, that in training or everything around your self-development, because your personal development can be also, you're a woman, you have a kid, or you return from pregnancy, maternity leave. How does the company adapt? Most of the time they don't. You continue with the same crazy hours. You want to, how do we say? You want to pump your milk.
Yep.
Need to find the right timing to do it, because it should not be on your working hours. And it's like, yes, so many things, were coming on your way. And so that's why I say that most of the time the company is remaining from the inside. And this is what I see I've been missing. It's to think that your people, without them, you were nothing. So if you don't take care of your resources, which is your goal, if you don't take care of them, you will never reach the result that you want. And I've seen it in one of my past companies. How many women get burned out? How many women, get depressed because of the pressure? And they need to prove always more. They need to work even more. So we change the culture of hustling to say, no, this is normal for you. And this is where I think that companies just need sometimes to take the time. And I know time is money, but just to say, okay, how can we manage better our employee? Because most of the time, the questions that I hear is, if we invest in them and they leave, oh my God, we would have lost our money. No,
No.
not that. Because they're going to stay, it's not thinking you're just going to leave. They're going to stay. So build your people and create everything that is in your power and abilities to make them feel safe, comfortable, seen, heard, valued, integrated, and they're going to stay. We have seen people before were seeing like alive in a company. Now it's like people have also different desire. Now people are more demanding, and we see it more with the new generation. They're not really like my generation or the one above mine to say, I don't want, to be pressed like a lemon and that you take any drop of me. So this generation will also, I think, bring a big change in the leadership of the companies.
I agree with that. And you're speaking the people profit language. It's, really investing in your people and, helping them to make them feel welcome and make them feel like they're being heard and seen, like you said, which translates into your team stays intact. Yes. Not the turnover. You have an intact team who get better and better and better. And then your clients and your customers and everyone wins. Your company wins. It's crazy to me that we are looking at that more and more.
And everybody is winning, as you said.
Yeah.
If you are growing, everybody's winning because your employee can just take another position and grow and grow and grow. But I think that what most of the company have an issue with is resistant to change. Right. And they kind of struggle with agility, even if we are in a world moving faster than ever. But it's like, no, we're going to play safe. But safety is not always a solution when you want to grow.
I think the other thing that's really good at thought process is you kind of got me thinking a little bit as I'm like listening to this conversation is when you go into a company, whether you're a man, woman, whatever, you have the opportunity to interview and ask the questions to that company, right? And I think we need to spend more time with applicants or with people that are out there looking for different jobs on what do you ask? Maybe you ask the leader, who is someone, you can ask your interviewer, well, tell me about a time that you've mentored someone, past their current position. And if that interviewer says, I can't really think of anything, then you may have an idea of who you're dealing with, right?
Yes. And, as an interviewer, most of the time, when comes the time to say, do you have any questions? The only questions that people have are just on the benefits. Right. It was never about the culture. It was never about the opportunity, the evolution. And it's like, So which mindset you come in the interview? It's are you willing, to be part of the company and grow? Because initially it's what you came for. It's not just to say, okay, I'm going to do 2 years and after I'll move away. No, right. Normally it should be different. But I think that something I've seen is and I truly think we have a leadership problem because people are thinking of themselves first or their own careers before thinking, okay, we are a team. So as a team, we're moving together. And I've seen many women, especially, sometimes were so much willing, to climb the ladder, we can just hurt or say, okay, that's my job. When it was the work for the employee, and getting all just to get the attention. And this is where sometimes some of my work is, why are you looking for this attention? What is missing in your life? You see, I'm seeking for the attention of everyone, even if I need to hurt my own people, because that's what a leader do. A leader shows the example, and he's not just, sitting on the back of others just to look brighter or better.
Right. Yeah. I think a lot of us can have that experience, wherever you are in the organization, where people are kind of stepping on you and taking credit for the work that you do.
Running a business is hard. Developing your people shouldn't be. At Human Power Solutions, we act as your outsourced chief learning officer, designing custom learning and development experiences that actually move the needle. No fluff, no cookie cutter workshops, just results. Whether your people need better communication, stronger leadership, or less burnout, we provide strategic solutions that align with your goals and keep your team moving forward. Visit hpowersolutions.com and unlock your team's full potential without disrupting operations.
And so that kind of brings me to another question. For someone out there that's listening to this, who might be struggling to articulate their value or their contributions in the workplace. A lot of times that happens with women, with our younger generation, with people maybe switching careers. How can they start building the confidence to speak up and advocate for themselves?
So I think that I'm going to come back to your nervous system. It's like, how do you feel when you're on your way to speak? Are you shaking? Are you sweating? And what if this is just an emotion? And it's just coming back and say, this emotion, it will pass. And sometimes it's just to say, okay, I know I'm uncomfortable. I know I'm scared. I know whatever is the emotion. But today, I decide I'm going to speak up. You decide, you commit, and then you act. And when you just follow because if you made a decision and you don't do it,
right,
it's like nothing. So
right.
Even if you're uncomfortable, again, know that you are uncomfortable because you're growing. You're on your way to do something you have never done before. So give you some grace, good tap, on your back and say, just do it. And you will see, you will be proud of yourself. And it's with so small little steps. Every time it's another one and another one. And you can just start, to talk loud at home and look at you in the mirror and say, okay, today, this is what I'm going to do. And just, again, embody it. And once you are with that certainty, and it can be also remember of a time when you were certain. It's there. It's already in you. And as I said earlier, you just need to remember because you have everything in you. It's just that we forget about it. And we let so much credit to others. But remember, others are focused on them.
Yes.
On you. So don't let what they can think, what they can say, what they can do, just triggering you. Just do what you have to do and just be proud of yourself because you are your most important person. The others, we don't care about them.
Right. Yeah. So that's amazing. I love those. I love that because you're basically telling people, you're basically like giving people permission to talk to themselves and build their confidence.
That's
I think
it.
one of the things, I think Chris at our last retreat was talking about those affirmations, right? Like just giving yourself that power, which I love. And I think a lot of times people don't allow themselves that power. I look at CEOs and I say to myself, congratulations, you have that position. But you get up in the morning, you have your coffee, you have your coffee, you walk your dog, like we're all human beings. And so that removing that H out of HR, like it's gone. We don't look at each other as humans anymore. And I think that's it's a big challenge in our businesses.
Yeah. And sometimes it's even, with those things, it's even, we are losing the connection. And I think that in business, and especially, when you are in company, it's how can I just create that connection? Because this is leadership. For me, it's all about also connection. It's how can I just connect, not just to a work space level with my employee, but more with sometimes an emotional, sometimes a personal standpoint, but create that connection, that bond with my people. Because if I know them, then I can help them and I can empower them. So for me, connection, communication, and trust are the basics for leadership.
It is. And you talk sometimes about mentors, right? And so I think about the work that you do and what you're doing to help, especially women, find their power. What role does mentorship play in your work? And how can women, young people, anybody, right? How can they find mentors who align with their goals and philosophies? I know I've had mentors way outside of when I owned my fitness center, I had a mentor like I didn't know much about business. So I picked a mentor who knew a lot about business, didn't know much about my industry, but he really helped me to grow. And even in my current company, Human Power Solutions, I've had several mentors over the last 5 years that have just really kind of helped me push past, some of the barriers, that my own internal barriers. And people ask me all the time about how do I find them? I don't know, they come to me. So how do people actively find a mentor?
So I think I will have a double answer for this one. It's like when we say, when you are ready, the master will appear. So that's the first one. It's really that when you are really ready and you are not forcing these things, life will put on your way people through actions, through friends, through your work, your peers, your colleagues. So it's part of, for me, trust the process. That's really okay. Life is good with you. So sometimes it hurts. I'm waiting for the right people, but the more you're going to try to force, the less you're going to find it. So for me, it's really to say, okay, I need to trust that I know the right person will come to me because I'm just going to connect. And the other answer that I can give you is first, trust your intuition. Okay. And feel who can be the good person. And again, where can you find this person? Maybe it's on Facebook. You can look at some Facebook group with leadership. Maybe it's directly on LinkedIn. And it's okay. What is one thing that I'm looking for this person? Is it, because when we're talking about mentor, we're not talking about coaching. So it means that it's someone who has the experience. Maybe it can be, as you shared, I'm looking for the experience on the business, but not on my industry. Or maybe it's no, I want to become more in my industry. So I need someone in my industry. Or you need someone to say, okay, no, I need to work just on my mindset. So I need to find a person who won't coach me, but can guide me. So definitely LinkedIn is a great place to search. And after you also had, some, depending on the country, I know you have, so through your organization, you can have mentors who are ready to help people. And I think that's, if you want to stay in your company, one of the best things to do, find a mentor within your company, someone that inspire you and you think, okay, I can trust and share openly what I want to do and it can help me just to achieve it. And if it's someone outside of your company, you have sometimes, some place where, I know we have this in France when you are younger and you want to be able to help when you are older and you want to help younger people, you have some space and after it just connect and it's the right person for you. It's again, you will see the feeling. Sometimes you are, oh, this person, I don't know why I can't feel it. Or this one, oh my God, I just saw him or her and oh no, you cross everything that you are feeling because this is something we forget most of the time.
It's a law of attraction. And you said something just that kind of leads me to another question, because I think we have a lot of younger listeners to our podcast who are thinking about their leadership journey and what they need to do. And I've got 2 Gen Zs for kids who are in corporate America. And my advice to them is find someone outside of your division in the company that you can, talk to. And then they obviously have me who does what I do for a living. But talk about your leadership style. You talk about leadership styles in terms of like traits or behaviors and things like that. But over the years, you evolve, right? So how would you describe your leadership style and how it's evolved over your 17 years in HR and now in this entrepreneurial, venture that you're in these days? How has that evolved?
So for me, it was all about encouraging autonomy first, because when I had a team, people are just waiting for you. And it's no, if you want to grow, you need to decide by yourself. You need to take initiative. And for me, it's giving employee or team member the space, to take initiative, to be creative. Just, okay, maybe during your week, you can have like 2 hours creativity time. It's like, okay, how can I just improve things, changing, come with an idea for a project, support other teams. And it's just giving them that space to do it and not just, have back to back meeting. And after that, and I don't have this time of, okay, I'm just going to take a moment to look back what am I doing and how things can evolve. And also, for me, it's all about, in companies, it's all about problem solving. And I remember one time when one of my leaders came to me and said, Flavie, anytime we come to your office, you welcome us with a smile while we are always here with problem. And when we leave your office, like we always have a solution. And it's something I wanted also to share with my team and say, all your internal client as HR going to be our employee. How can you help them to find solution? So the objective is to come with a problem, help them to find a solution, be creative. And that's why I was opening, those creative moments. Okay, just think out of the box. Don't be afraid to come with something conventional, because that's some time where the magic is happening. It's like, oh my God, I didn't think about this, because we're thinking so much narrow-minded.
Right.
Yes, something great can happen. And for me, it's just giving the space, giving the time, and be a listener. For me, a good leader is be for all a listener. You just shut up, talk, and you listen to what are people problems, what are people needs, how can you help them, and after you can talk. But first, and most of leaders talk because they need to, feel the space. And and I think another thing I shared already, it's all about trust and communication. So if you have a clear communication, you set up clear objectives, you remove the confusion, misalignment, and you are, okay, these are the objectives.
Yeah.
You have the space, the time. Everything is clear. So that way people don't have to overthink, and say, okay, my door is always open. You can come anytime when the door is open, if you're not in an open space, and say, ask me question. Don't be afraid to ask question, because most of the time people say, I can't come and see you. Or no, this is what I'm calling building, the emotional safety for your employee.
Yeah.
Feel safe to express ID, asking question, take risk, and say, okay, I'll cover you. Talk to me first, because I need to cover you, because most of the time, managers or leaders won't cover you back because you work with them, or because they are most of them cowards. But a true leader was, okay, we can take risk as long as it's calculated. And that way, the employee is not afraid of punishment or getting fired, because it was that space where you can help them to grow. A leader is here for me to help the employee to grow. And I don't believe in a one-fits-all leadership. I think that we are all different with our background, with our story, and people have different motivation, work of style, strengths. And so a good leader for me, and this is why I was spending time weekly with each member of my team. So, okay, what do they need? How can I help them? How can I help them in their job, but to grow? Because I want that one of them become my successor. So I'm building the next generation. I'm building the next generation.
So that brings me to, that's a great segue to my next question, which is, I love this conversation, and we could talk for hours, I'm sure. There are a ton of different leadership styles. It sounds like yours is transformational, which is the one that I love, because it really is all about the person. But there's a transactional, servant leadership, democratic, like all the different things we talk about in the book. And if you're an introvert, if you're someone that's not an outward person, your leadership style is going to be different. How do you help, your clients, women that you work with, identify their style for what works for them, especially if they're new and just kind of unfamiliar with their roles?
Yeah. So most of the time, it comes to say, in which situation do you feel confident? It's really to bring them back to something they know. It's okay. Now we're just going to do some practice. And it's putting them in situation where they feel safe. Because when they feel safe, this is where they can just express more easily themselves. And it's just to say that you're not sick. There's nothing to fix. You are just in evolution. It's all about your growth. So it's also making sure that the person is ready. Because how many times we see people who have been put in leadership role, but they are not ready at all.
Right.
And in this moment, it's like,
all day long.
For me, it's a double role between, so the manager above that new leader to say, okay, You just need to give him time and not, try to force the things. And after say, no, finally, we did a mistake in the recruitment and so on. So give a chance. First, it's give a chance and don't put so much pressure. And after, in parallel, it's working with the employee and say, okay, we're going to mentor you. We're going to coach you. We're just going to help you to get the best of you and to just fulfill the duties, the role and responsibilities that you have to hold in the company, and make sure that this is also what you want, because forcing people will not lead you where you want to go.
Right. I think also helping people understand the situations that they're dealing with. I know myself as a very extroverted, I love people, love mentoring them. I love helping them and having them find the answers. But there are times, in work and in the work life that you have to be a little less, you got to be a little bit more autocratic and more directional, right? Yeah. So you think about these different things, and over the years, people have different leadership styles that develop over a woman's career. How do they navigate the shift? So, I know when I was a young leader, 20s, in management for hospitality, I just had a blast. Fast forward, had children, right? I changed as a person. I had different responsibilities. My leadership style, changed at that point as well. Now being an empty nester, but a grandmother and different focuses, still leading a team. I've seen my easygoing 20-year-old kind of really shifting into more of a not so easygoing, And so how do you help women, I think especially, I will phrase that with women, how do they navigate this shift you draw through different periods of their lives?
Well, I think that, again, it's part of the evolution. So it starts with acceptance. It's okay, I am not anymore the lady I was when I was 20. I am not yet the 60 years old that I will become.
Me either.
But when you reach maybe you're 60, it's okay. I'm not the same person that when I was a young mom at 40s. I can waste it. And how can I just share everything that I've learned, to others? And for me, it's just a matter of perspective that we are in constant evolution. So we should not force or fight the evolution, because the world is evolving. Like, remember in 2000, it was, oh my God, so we're going to stop. We're just going to go. And nothing changed. Now we have AI. Oh my God, we have bots. Finally, we live good with the bots, So we are by default always in constant evolution. So you need to accept that you are changing. And we as women, we have some things that men don't have. Or on top, and even with our month, we can change 4 times. And during our day, we can change 4 times. And we're all, I love, and because it's going to be spring, so I love to make that relation that life is all about season. We have 4 seasons in our day. There are moments when you have been eating that it's like, oh, I'm so tired. I want to take a nap. This is your winter time. And after you have your creativity time, oh my God, it's springtime. Everything is going to saying that we are, and we see it. We were, if we look really to the history, walking like a gorilla, and after we became a human, and after, I hope we won't have too many things on us, but the world has been evolving since a billion of years. So it's just accepting that, yes, you are growing, you are evolving, you are changing, you are learning through your experience. So it just, for me, in a way, be grateful and thankful for the person you are becoming and not having any regret. If you have regret, it's because you didn't make a decision at that time. And today it's, maybe I should, but this won't help you in your life. So instead, shift and say, how can I maybe do better next time? Or next time I will have an opportunity, I'm going to grab it because I've been learning through my past experience. And thanks to this evolution, I know. So for me, just we are evolving and we just need to accept it. Just like we're getting older, we need to accept just things.
Yes, that's
exactly the same. Your body changing, your body transforming. And we as women, we know, like, but, and I didn't lose my belly after my baby. And we're always, looking for what is not okay. But
Yeah.
you look to, okay, everything is fine. Everything is perfect as it is. And how can I just, enjoy that journey in my life and not
Yeah.
just think, oh, it was better before. You won't return to the past. The past has gone.
Right.
It's past. So now we just focus on today. Do your best of today, because this is today that you are building tomorrow.
And I think it's so true. It's you're building your legacy, you're building all those things, right? And I think as we get older and we have more experiences, we can be more vulnerable sometimes, in our leadership, in how we lead. And I think, 5-10 years ago, that vulnerability was seen as a weakness. And now I think people are starting to see that authenticity, and that we're actually people, right? That everyone comes from the same, just does the same thing pretty much, right? We all need to eat well, drink water, and exercise. I mean, those are 3 things that the entire world needs to do, right?
Yes.
But how do women balance showing vulnerability while maintaining authority, especially in those, I think about finance, and I think about, law and those male-dominated fields or industries. I know we're working a lot with auto body shops, and they're starting to really bring in a lot of females into that industry because it's very technical, very detail-oriented. And the shops that I'm working with are bringing in, and really embracing the differences between the male and female and how they do things. So, and so when I work with those groups and those women, I'm like, you got to still maintain yourself. What kinds of things do you advise women to do in those kind of situations as far as being vulnerable and maintaining their authority?
So I think the first thing we need to make a difference of is don't bring personal stuff. You can be vulnerable, but as long as it's not crying because you're in the middle of divorce, this is not the point. Because sometimes this is where people say, oh, I'm vulnerable. No. But vulnerability, can come by, okay, this is what I've been doing when I was younger. This is a mistake I've done, but this is learning. It's always bringing what is a learning. And yes, maybe that day I did a big mistake. And I remember I did, one day I sent a file, I didn't remove someone, and the people received the document with his salary. It was a big mistake. And when I shared, with my teams, okay, ladies, I've done a mistake. Okay, even your boss is doing mistakes. It's okay, finally, it means that we are authorized to say that we are not perfect. And when you share about, so here I took an example of mistake, but it can be about so many different elements to share. Maybe a moment where you had a struggle with a manager, where you had a struggle with your manager, the authority, or whatsoever. You just open the door to people to say, oh, she's maybe not exactly the way I envision her.
Right.
And for me, this is where you create even more trust. This is where you open opportunities for exchange by sharing your story, vulnerability, just like I know I shared with my team, especially because this is what I love them. That the reason I was leaving when I was working for a big luxury company was the management, because I'm not aligned with the way they're treating employees. I'm not aligned with the way we're leading with recruitment. And to say, oh my God, Flavie, no one would have told us that, because at the same time, I delivered from my son who had a very rare disease. And I could have said, okay, I'm just taking the excuse of my family. Wait, but I'm not, this company, even if it's one of the most famous in the world, I'm not aligned with the value, because you don't throw me at my face a resume telling me that this lady is not beautiful. Because what I was requested to recruit was a lady of less than 33 years old, only a French name with a de, so the
You're right, yeah.
Perfect. Blonde, blue eyes, and beautiful. And I was, okay, what about the skills and the competency? I don't care. And it was my director was literally throwing me, she's ugly. And I can't work that way,
Yeah.
And this is discrimination. And even myself, okay, I have curly hair, and I'm sorry, I had to straighten my hair when I went to work there, because if I didn't do that, I would never have my job. And for me to say, okay, I need to speak up and share, because I've been hurt. Honestly, I felt that because I didn't have straight hair, I could not belong. And so when you share the pain, when you share what you feel, like I was feeling humiliated, people can just connect maybe some moment where they felt the same. And it's like, okay, I'm just like you and I'm not better than you. I don't have anything more than you. So just know that, yes, it asked me courage and it asked me to work on myself to overpass this. And so sharing your story can just allow to people to say, okay, she went through something and she overcome it. So if she has done it, in a way, there are solutions and I can do it too.
I love that. Oh my goodness. I could go on all day with you today. This has just been a fascinating conversation. There's so many nuggets there for our younger leaders that are listening, for our people that are going through transitions. And Flavie, how can people reach you if they would like to get in touch with you, learn more about the work that you do? I'd love to be able to share that with our audience as well.
Sure. So you can contact me on Facebook, Flavie Berleand. I'm sorry, my name in English, I know is not easy to pronounce. So I do it Flavie Berleand, or on LinkedIn also. Same name, you will find me. And that's the best way for you to reach out to me. I have also my website. So through the link, you will have also my website. You have a section where you can send me a message. And now I'm watching and reading all my emails, even when I'm receiving answer from my people when I'm writing newsletter. And I just love to connect. So for me, life is all about connection. We never know who we're going to meet, and we never know when we can just, have an impact in someone's life. And
I love it.
I can just bring you a smile or a small change. You won't have made my day. So
And so we have your website up, yourbizyourroles.com.
Exactly.
Again, Flavie, thank you so much for joining me today on the People Profit Podcast. I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's a wrap on this episode of the People Profit Podcast. If you found a nugget of wisdom or even just a spark of inspiration, share the love, subscribe, leave us a review, and pass the episode along to a colleague who's ready to build a people-first culture. Big thanks to our sponsor, Human Power Solutions, for championing workplace where humans thrive and profits rise. Want to learn how they can energize your team? Head over to hpowersolutions.com to get started. I'm Sandra Coker, reminding you that when you invest in people, you invest in profit. See you next time.